The biggest challenge facing not just the commercial sector at the moment, it's commercial agents in general. The paradox is the biggest challenge that most commercial agents are facing is the best opportunity for new EXP commercial agents. We have what's called the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act of 2023. It's a big old act, so I'm only going to talk about a couple of bits today while we're sat here. The biggest one is the high street rental auctions. This is the one that's ruffling the most feathers and giving people the challenges. They don't know how to deal with this part of the act. What it means in simple terms is if your building is empty for 366 days consecutively, or a 12-month period in any 24-month period, so there is gaps and breaks, your building is now eligible to go into what's called a high street rental auction. It means you, as the building owner and the commercial agent that you've engaged, loses control of that building and the local authority puts it into the auction. You then get the tenant that wins that auction. So if you are holding out for a higher pound per square footage and you are delaying making a decision or filling that building because they're not meeting your pound per square footage, you'll lose control of that building. If you are waiting for somebody to come along with a 5-year lease, 10-year lease, and you won't entertain anything less, you run the risk of losing that building. Now, us as commercial agents need to be very clear with you now and say to you these sort of things. When we are listing a building, will it go? And that's the first challenge. We have regional portfolios of people. They have buildings, they don't understand the high streets, they don't understand the towns that they're representing. So they'll never know that that bank on the corner is never going to lease. It's never going to find a tenant that's going to take that building over. So this is the challenge commercial agents have got now. We're having to be more proactive, but the EXP model is local agents on the high street that they're representing. They know their towns, they know their people, they know the type of people that are moving. So when a building comes available and we get engaged on it, we're not just going to put a board up on it and run the risk of that going into a high street rental. We are going to give you some very clear advice to start with. We're going to say things about change of use. We'll say things that you can use your permitted development rights, perhaps split it into, some retail or leisure at the bottom, and some residential or apart hotels conversions at the top. But we'll have to give you this advice very early on, because we won't have you in a position in 12 months time where your building could go into a high street rental auction and you end up losing control of the tenant that you potentially have in there. One of the overlooked parts that is not getting registered is the landlord's responsibilities to these buildings, and that is a whole different part of the scenario. Take for instance a building that I've just been looking at in Ellesmere Port. The valuation is £65,000 on that building if it was to sell. So if that landlord now brings it to me and sells it, it's £65,000. It has had a lot of damage, a lot of roof damage, a lot of water ingress. My guess is going to take about £50,000 to bring that building up to scratch if he was going to tenant it. So the sale is the option that he'll have to go for. Now, if that building stays empty for 366 consecutive days and it does go into a high street rental auction, he could end up with a tenant there paying £10, £20, £30 per square foot, a lot less than he'd hoped for. He can also have a tenant in there that will just have a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease, not the 5-year lease that they might hope for. But the bit which most people are missing is he'll have a responsibility to bring that building up to standard if that happens. So not only has he lost control and he's got a tenant in there that he hasn't spoken to for a price that they're not happy with, for a length of term that they're not happy with, he'll have to go and spend £50,000 now to bring that building up to standard before the tenant that he doesn't want goes in there. So there's implications there. So the old way of taking a building to market, putting a board on it, leaving it on the portal and then just waiting for something to happen, it won't last much longer than this.